Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Jay Encarnacion, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are thrilled to have Chuck Thokey, the co-founder and owner of Top Rep Training. Chuck brings a wealth of expertise in sales strategy and coaching, over 2 decades of experience in high-stakes sales within home services, home improvement, and roofing sectors, and a passion for transforming average sales teams into top producers. Based in the Dayton metropolitan area in Ohio, Top Rep Training is revolutionizing how contractors, sales professionals, and business owners master sales through immersive boot camps, online courses, and personalized coaching. We'll be exploring his founding story, how his business empowers clients in the sales training space, and his vision for scaling this impact-driven venture. So with that being said, let's dive right into it. Chuck, welcome to Founders Future.
And thanks so much. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely, man. A pleasure and an honor. An incredible background that you have. So truly looking forward to the conversation, as I know the listeners are as well. Chuck, if you could take us back to the beginning and what really started everything here, talk a bit about what specific problem in the sales training landscape inspired you to start Top Rep Training.
The biggest thing for me, so I've been in sales for about 20 to 23 years. I've been in the mortgage industry, been in the insurance industry. And when I got into the home improvement sector, it just gave me a whole other world. And during that, I built some of the largest sales teams in home improvement. Before PE started buying everybody out, I actually helped to build two of the largest home improvement companies in the United States. And when I left the second one, I decided that I didn't want to go into another and just build another organization. I wanted to go into a bunch because we noticed that there are a lot of, whether it be struggling or there's companies that really didn't know how to get past a certain milestone. And so I really wanted to jump in and see what I could do with a large number of companies, not just large companies.
Incredible. Incredible. So I definitely want to understand what you're doing with Top Rep today, right? How you're generating revenue, especially for our listeners who are other founders, entrepreneurs, business owners, getting a good look at what is going on the inside. Talk to us a bit about the core offer here, Chuck. I know you have immersive boot camps, you have the online courses, the coaching programs. Is that one-on-one? Is that group? So walk us through really all of your core offerings and the ideal client that you work with on those offers.
So first of all, the ideal client, their home services, home improvement, but many people ask who is our client. So we like to let them know that we have clients that are in upwards of over $1 billion a year, but those are very rare. We're one of the only coaching companies in the United States that can work with that size of an organization, mainly because I've been in that. So when they come to me, I know what I'm talking to. But a majority, about 90% of the companies that come to us are anywhere between $1 million and $20 million. That is the largest, that makes up a majority of who we deal with. And when we look at our offerings, our biggest offering is our membership. So we like to bring people into the community. We want to bring people into, whether it's people that we've been coaching and we've built up to 20, 40, 50 million, but they started out sub $1 million.
Yeah.
And so we bring others in and we want to bring them into a community so we can show them what that success looks like. And it's one thing to go in and be coached by somebody. It's another thing to be coached by somebody, but also that coach brings in a mentor of somebody that we've already coached, and we can show them what success looks like. We can show them what the future looks like, and we can 10x where they're at just by the fact that now they know what it looks like. It's because you can be coached, and half the of what is being coached, they don't believe. They don't. And I have had some of the best coaches in the world work with me. My coach is probably one of the best in the world, which is Keith Rosen. And now he works for Discover Card and Google and all that. But way, way back, about 15 years ago, he was a lot smaller and I worked with him. and got to where I was. That's I People are like, oh my gosh, Chuck went in, he built this company. And no, I didn't. I learned how to do it.
Right.
And it's through mentors and coaches. And then I says, hey, I want to give back. And so it gives us that opportunity inside of Top Reps membership.
Yeah.
And inside the membership, they have a platform like everybody else. They have the online videos, but we decided that we weren't going to do that unless we could do it differently. And so we had to be very strategic on the LMS that we used. And the next thing that we did is we wanted to make something that no one else has. So
Right.
we now have the most advanced. There's other simulators out there or role play bots out there. We have
Yeah.
the most advanced, and we've spent a lot of money, a lot of time doing this, where it's a simulator. A sales rep can simulate a role play and they can do as many as they want. And they go back and forth with this role play bots, and they have many different levels that they can choose. They can go easy and just sell three, because we have organizations that we require them to sell three bots in the morning before they start their day. I mean,
Amazing.
if that's where sales comes from, is momentum. So we start their momentum with an AI bot, and then they go in the house and the rest of their day they just dominate.
Yeah.
And we have many organizations where these folks are like, you can't get above 40%. That's just not doable. I says,
Yeah.
no, it is, because many of our organizations are above 60. And the reason why is how we get them there. It's we don't teach them the sales process. We have a sales process, but you have to understand what the sales process is there for. Most
Right.
people don't understand what it's actually for, because then we teach them the sales conversation, and that's where success comes from. But before all that starts is we start their waterfall, is what we call it. The success model is a waterfall. Once you can get that faucet going, it
Mhm.
doesn't stop. Momentum creates, it's the law of inertia. And
Absolutely.
so we create that momentum. So all that is inside of just the platform. But in the other stuff you get inside the membership is a lot of group coaching for leaders and owners, and you get a lot of group coaching for the sales reps. It's done completely different, because we'll have anywhere between 50 and 100 sales reps. So we can't have people raising their hand and asking questions as easily as we can the owners and leaders, but we have separate group coachings for that. So that's the membership. And then we also have one-on-one coaching where we're just on with that company.
Mhm.
And we get this question a lot is, do you work with sales reps? Not as often as you think. Because if I'm the hero to those sales reps, then they're not learning anything that's sustainable. But
Right.
if I can get to their owners and their sales leaders, now we're building something that's not only sustainable, but it's got momentum. And because I'm not there with them 24/7, their
Yeah.
sales manager is.
Yeah.
And most sales managers don't understand what sales management or sales leadership is until we give that behind the scenes to them. Then we also have what we call virtual sales management. We
Mhm.
have sales managers, some of the best in the country, that will actually manage your team until we can place a sales manager for you. Many of those, they get so hooked on our sales managers that they're like, can we just keep it going with your sales manager? If you want to, you can, but we think that there's another level of success if we can get somebody inside your organization, not
Yeah.
just our guy that can work with your team 2 to 4 times a month. So it's those types of things that we can do virtually. But when it comes to how we grown and why we've been able to grow, it's the boot camps. They are the biggest. And this past year, the big show, which is the Top 500 conference, we were given the, I don't know if you title or whatever you call it, of most effective coaching. And we get so many people that come into that boot camp. Typically, we get right around 300 sales reps and owners and leaders that come to that boot camp twice a year. And the boot camp is something like you really have to come and check it out,
Yeah.
because it's something you've never witnessed before. We've put so much research into this. We have partnered with people like Rilla. I don't know if Rilla is, but we are their biggest partner. And being that big partner, we get access to a lot of recordings that nobody gets. and we get access to a lot of data that nobody else gets. When we train inside the boot camp, we're training based on scientific data, not like
Yes.
we used to 10 years ago, where it's just we think it works, so we're going to try that too, or it sounds really good, so we're going to try to teach it from stage. And what
Right.
we have found is that half of what everybody's been taught is actually a myth. It actually doesn't work in the house. Some of it actually detracts. And this is why we can get so many companies up to that 50, 55, 60% close rate because we've taken all the distractions out of the house.
Interesting. So interesting. With that being said here, Chuck, clearly so many offerings across the table. You've
Yeah.
seen a ton of success, and the boot camps are really a key driving factor for you. What's working best on the acquisition side? I know referrals got to be a big piece for you here with the success and everything you've been able to accomplish. Obviously, events and conferences going to. What other channels have been most effective for you to bring in consistent clientele? And what challenges have you seen, especially in this day and age with AI and technology and the way it's all developing there? Walk us through that a bit.
As far as what's the main point of the question? Because I think I got three questions in there.
Yeah. So as far as what are the most effective channels for client acquisition right now, and what challenges are you facing on predictable lead generation?
So for us, as far as how we get clients, it is all word of mouth. So we have gotten as big as we've gotten. We had some of the folks from like Russell Brunson, they wanted to coach us and the guy took one look at where we're at. He says, "You're already way over where we are at." And we've done that with no sales team. It was just me and my
Wow.
COO, Mike Alvarado. We now have a whole sales team. We have setters and closers, and we have a VP of sales, but and that was just as of the last 6 months. So we've been doing
Wow.
this for 9 years now. But again, we are looking at different ways of scaling. We realize inside of a mastermind that we're in, we also have access to a guy by the name of Ben Hardy. He
Okay.
is like the 10x guy.
Yeah.
And so we've had the opportunity to ask him questions and show him our business model. And he's all about saying, "Hey, if you want to be the $10 million company, how can you do it? If you want to do it in 5 years, how can you do it in two?"
Right.
And what that does is it takes out all the BS, all the detractors and distractions. It takes all that out so that now we understand how we're going to scale the organization. But one of the biggest things that hold us back, believe it or not, are one-on-one coaching. You can only do so
You can only
much.
do right time. Yeah.
Yeah, you see a lot of these other really big coaches that you see on social media, and there's
Yeah.
a reason why they have more bad reviews and upset people because they just have crap coaches.
Yeah.
And we've had our fair share. We won't do it again. We've hired two coaches that just didn't work out, and it stings. It
Yeah.
stings when you hear from the client and you have to offer a bunch of free stuff so that you can make up for what they've done.
Yeah.
And again, after those two, we brought back and said, "All right, we're just going to go with what we have as far as the one-on-ones. It's a little bit more expensive because we just don't have the time,
Yeah.
but we've also taken a lot of what we're coaching. It's like Groundhog Day. Everybody has the same questions, they have the same stuff. So we've taken this and put it into a virtual coaching program. And it is one of the very first actual virtual coaching programs in the country.
Amazing. So with that there, on the idea of scale and growth, obviously wanted to take it, sounds like the 10 million and plus a year for the company. Are you guys starting to think about different channels and avenues besides just the referrals and word of mouth? What does that look like? And what's the urgency behind setting those systems up?
I wanted to slow down on speaking.
Yeah.
And that's one of our biggest. We'll go to an event, and for me to go speak somewhere, I typically charge $15,000 to speak.
Yep.
However, our favorite speeches are our free speeches.
Yeah.
When I find out there's 1,000 salespeople there or there's 1,000 business owners, I will do that speech for nothing, or maybe just for them to fly me out and pay for the hotel because
Yeah.
I'll actually make anywhere from a quarter million to $1 million on that speech. I'm not going to nickel and dime for what
Totally.
I'm negotiating for is can I put my QR code up there and free documents? Because
Yes.
now I have over 100 to 200 leads that come out of that because they want our free documents.
Yes.
And I know that closer I know you guys do the same thing. Here's all your free documents. Here's all your new leads.
Yep.
So that's a big lead generator for us.
Absolutely. With that, Chuck, obviously being in the game for quite some time now, what would you say today, moving forward with the scale in mind? What are the biggest bottlenecks that you're facing that you're looking to really break through the rest of this year and achieve that continued success?
Well, the biggest bottleneck is one-on-one coaching because everybody wants that personal attention, and it really does bottleneck us. The other bottleneck that we're actually looking at, believe it or not, is we think that 2 boot camps a year really stunts our growth because we have to advertise for that. So when we advertise for the boot camp, do you know what we can't advertise for? Us.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of things that we really have to look at and decide how we're going to move forward past this year. We haven't hit a ceiling because we continue to go up, but we know that ceiling's not far, and it's hard to keep the quality of what we
Mhm.
because home improvement is a and we want to stay in home improvement, but it's a
Yeah,
small town.
it is.
When you get some of these others, I'm not going to call them out, but you get some of these other training coaching companies, they're all encompassing and they could care less who they make mad because they have thousands upon thousands of current clients. We have hundreds upon hundreds of current clients. And so we'd like to stay inside of home improvement and home services because of the fact we are effective in that.
Mhm.
We don't want to get into financial services and insurance and the door to door energy and that kind of stuff. That's
Yeah,
just,
solar.
we know it, but there's thousands of other coaches that do it.
Absolutely. On that front, paint me the picture here, Chuck. What does the rest of this year look like for you as far as the laser focus is and really being able to establish that continuous growth?
So we're going to really be focused on our setters and closers for the rest of the year,
Mm,
training them, making sure we monitor the numbers, that we know what works, what doesn't work, and really paying most attention to all the boring stuff, which is all the behind the scenes type numbers and KPIs that we need to be focused on. So we're going to keep pumping out the content because we know we need to, but our focus will really be on that department to build something that can keep the business coming in.
absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. With that there, I have one more question for you before going into the lightning round, Chuck, and that's going to be around the industry as a whole. How do you see the sales training industry evolving in the coming years, Chuck, especially with your practical, high energy approach, everything that you bring to the table? What are you really doing to position yourself at the forefront of that evolution?
We all know AI is coming. People like to say it's here, and it's not here like you think it might be.
Yeah.
But we use a lot of AI, but we also know that we need to stay ahead of the curve because if you don't stay ahead of the AI curve, the AI will swallow you up.
Yeah.
And the other challenge is that most AI isn't good enough yet. Like these
Mm,
AI agents, they're not there yet. People
yeah.
say they are, they're out selling it, they're putting it on the front of their business. But if you've ever actually called a home service company and an AI agent picks up, you really feel like I'm just going to hang up.
Yeah.
And as of right now, we don't know the actual numbers, but we know a high percentage of people are hanging up or just not engaging with the AI. It's
Mhm.
not there yet, but we know it will be. So we have to be focused on that. But it's we all have to look at how can we stay on top of it and when is it the time? When is it going to be good enough that we can put it in front of our customers? When do we know that it's able to take on our systems and
Yes.
put that in front? Because ultimately that's how it's going to be. When they AI is going to take over the training industry, it
Yeah.
can't because it can only regurgitate what it learns across the net. So
Exactly.
if we don't continuously feed it, it won't grow.
Question for you. You said something that stuck out to me there, and that was just on the home service side, being your experience and what you've seen there. Why do you think, what's your kind of conclusion on why people aren't taking to the AI agents so much, especially as I know how much of a factor that is for home service companies that can't answer the phone or don't want to hire a person for that. What have you seen on that end to supplement, especially with people not really taking to the AI agents so much?
The number one reason is because they're still fake.
Yeah.
They're still robotic.
Mm,
And the last thing you ever want to do with something that can be robotic or looked at as fake is not be upfront with the fact that you are talking to an AI agent. And how you introduce that AI agent is going to be very impactful not only for the company that whoever's using it, but the person that is being affected by it or talking to it. That's hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, no, for sure. Absolutely. And it's just interesting and intriguing with, as you mentioned, just the continuous progress of it and hearing how that affects the space of home services. I know it's such a big factor. The deliverability, the answering side of things for it is huge. Very interesting to hear that side. So with that, just a couple more questions for you, Chuck. It's been incredible having you on the show and really being able to pick your brain. So truly been appreciating the conversation. On this side, I would love to hear from you about a tool or a resource that you're using, whether it's a sales mental trick, a strategy from your roofing experience, an AI tool. What can you say has been the biggest game changer for top rep training this fall?
I'd say one of the biggest game changers is our simulator. It really separates us from everybody else.
Yeah.
There are others out there and they just continue to chase us on that front. But that is probably the biggest game changer that we've had. Outside of that, and it's tough because it's the other game changers are boot camps, really,
Love it. I love it. And
and our
for
partners.
to use that simulator, is that something that you guys can do one-offs for so people can try it out, or you have to have the membership to get in and try that out? Where can people try it for the ones listening in?
So they can reach out to us. The other thing that you're going to see, most people inside of home improvement have seen, I don't have it in front. I do. They've seen our pivot points.
Yes.
We sell thousands and thousands of these. And what is going to be coming out, and I'm glad you asked me this because this is the first time because literally they just came in this
Yeah.
week,
Yeah.
is what we call the Black Pack.
Oh.
Now, the Black Pack has a lot of technology that's involved in it. And like this one right here,
Hmm.
it's the same card as that you would get inside the pivot points, but
Right.
with one difference, the QR
Ah,
code. So
ah,
now you can scan the QR code. Not only am I going to pop up and I'm going to teach you the card, but there's a button right underneath it and you can simulate right there on your phone. You can simulate that
yeah, out of here.
exactly what that card does.
It's very cool. Where can we purchase the black box pivot points?
Right now, they are not for sale. They'll be for sale towards the middle of August.
Okay.
We're sending this out to a lot of influencers, people that are going to try it out. Obviously, they're going to do their
Also
testimonials,
valid. Yeah, yeah.
but where we will actually be selling them first is going to be at the boot camp, August 18th and 19th there in Atlanta. We will probably sell out of the cards that we have right
Yeah.
there at the boot camp. But that you can actually see them at topreptraining.com.
Very cool. Very cool. One last question for you, Chuck. I don't want to keep you too much longer here. What is the best piece of advice that you can offer to our listeners tuning in? Just heard your incredible journey and everything you're doing with Top Rep. What can you leave them with before we wrap up today, Chuck?
I know it sounds simple, but consistency.
Mm,
No matter what we teach, and they're like, "Oh man, that's great." I'm like, "It's only great if you're consistent at it." No
yeah.
matter what piece of advice we give you, what technique, what tool, what strategy we give you, if you're not consistent with it, it's not going to work. And we get this all the time. What selling strategy or what selling system should I use? Anyone is fine because they're all the same. If you
Mm,
really look at the selling systems inside of home improvement and home services, they are all the same. There's only so many ways you can skin the cat. But what
yeah.
the difference is, are your salespeople even following it? And then how are they using it? How they're
Mm.
using it is more important than the fact that they are using it. And so that's really the piece of advice I would give.
I absolutely love that. With that right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. And Chuck, I truly can't thank you enough coming on the show, sharing the incredible journey and insights with us today. Clear as day with the knowledge, the drive, the passion. Just an honor and a pleasure to be able to have the conversation with you today, Chuck. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, which I know so many of you have, as did I, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And also check out Top Rep Training at topreptraining.com for their sales resources. And also follow Chuck on LinkedIn at linkedin.com/in/Charles Thokey. For more resources and insights, you can visit us here at closers.io, where we are dedicated to helping businesses accelerate their growth. Until then, keep climbing, and we will see you on the next one.